A Ma Maniere dropping some new shoes, and not just shoes, but they got Nike shoes dropping as well as a clothing collection. But the main focus is the Jordan 3 that's coming out. If you don't know, A Ma Maniere is a boutique shop that has collaborated with Nike so many times. I mean, I'm willing to say at least 5-6 times at this point. And this time they're dropping another 3. They've previously dropped them in like black with brown accents, white with brown and gray accents, and now we got these ones which are primarily white with some gray and blue accents. And for me personally, these are one of the best 3s I have seen in a very, very long time. I know I said that about the 4s last time we talked about those brick by bricks. I'm saying it about the 3s now. These are fire. I need a pair. I'm in the raffle. I'm probably going to lose the raffle, but these go crazy. And I'm curious what you guys think about these, as well as if you have thoughts on the other shoes. They got an Air Max 95, then an all black Air Force One, which, you know, has its connotations.
What I will say, I have a problem with this sneaker, and it's tough because I usually like A Ma Maniere collabs. I usually am a fan of what they're able to pull off. And this is a very simple colorway. Like, I don't hate it. I want to make that very clear. But I think maybe it is just like I have an issue with a lot of white threes where it kind of just the color blocking just doesn't really sit right with me. This specific drop, I think my issue is like, I don't know if you guys have ever thrown in like dirty sneakers into either the washer or like you just do a deep cleanse and like they kind of come out a little bit like maybe not discolored, but like
you don't like the cream accents is what I'm hearing.
No, the cream accents I do not have a problem with. I would say it's like the black little heel tab. It just looks, I don't know, it just doesn't look appealing.
It looks really like a nice suede, like a dark gray suede. It's so clean.
I don't know. If those who've ever thrown in some sneakers into the washer, don't ask me why that's happened. You know, Latino household, bro. I also would ask the same questions, but sometimes, you know, whatever, right? Point is, I just don't like the way it looks. Like it really don't have anything beyond that. Just like the white and black on the upper, it just doesn't really sit right with me. And it's simple. That I shouldn't really have an issue with it, but I think I'm a fan of like the black cement 3s. I do like the true blue 3s, but those also have some elephant print. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just like it's too simple for me and it just doesn't have enough of a pop. Whereas I feel like an iconic silhouette like the 3 does need that little like elephant print. But that's just me.
I'm curious what you think of their previous pair. I just sent an image on Discord, but that was very kind of black cement 3 reminiscent, I would say, where it has these similar details of like gray suede, but it's more of a focus of primarily being black and brown. I'm curious if that makes a difference to you, because for me, these are standout just with that hit of blue, and just the colors I feel like just flow together so well. I think it's simple, it's nothing crazy, but I think they work together really well, and that's enough for me. It doesn't need to pop out or have a distinct feature. I like how it almost seems like you could wear these with any outfit.
Okay, interesting. I think this white pair is better than the black pair you sent.
The white pair is fire. That sold out and like the resale was crazy.
I honestly like, and this is weird, but like I was more of a fan of the women's collab they had, where it was kind of like gray and there was like a little bit of like a brownish.
Yeah, that one. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But it's like a white sneaker, right?
Yes, that was the first 3 they did.
Yes, that one I actually preferred, and I would
that's
say
the best.
I would say that one was like very unique, and I obviously love the cream heel tab. I thought that was like a nice touch right there. I like the compliments of like cream with white, then you have a light gray, then you have a bit of like a, I guess you could say like a brownish accent as well, like on the bottom of the sneaker. I think that all flowed well. But when you add some blue to this, maybe you know what this is as well. And I said this about the brick by bricks. If you took away the A Ma Maniere logo on the tongue, this looks like a GR release. And there's nothing wrong with looking like a GR release. But if I saw this sitting at a sneaker store, I would completely just walk past these. But because they have the A Ma Maniere logo and they have that stamp, obviously it does add a little bit more of a pop to the sneaker, but it's just not enough for me to say like, man, I am a fan of these. Like if I had to give these an honest rating out of 10, I would give them like a 6.5, which is interesting because it's still, like I said, want to reiterate, not an ugly sneaker. It just doesn't really do much for me. It just doesn't, like, I wouldn't be driven to want to pair myself. But I do understand and I do accept that, yes, like this works, this fits. It's just not enough to really, like, I guess you could say, like, send me over the edge.
Fair enough. I respect your take. Dre?
It's funny, you know. When we started this segment, I was looking at them and I was like, yeah, I don't mind these. Although I would say every photo in this page they have, basically with like all like the photo shoot photos and stuff, they look different in almost every photo, low key. But especially compared to like the 3D model they have up there. But the shade of blue, I like a lot. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like these. But then like the more I looked at them, the less they were like calling to me. And then you sent the picture of the other ones, the black ones with like the, I guess the brown hits or whatever color that is. And well, it looks kind of purplish too. But
yeah, it's those, like a purple and brown.
Yeah, those I was like, I don't know. And then looking at the original one, I remember these original ones, even though I wasn't even tapped in like that. Like I remember seeing these everywhere. And then now looking at these, I think on feet, threes always look a little better. But like just looking at the image of these, I'm like, I don't know. And like now I'm realizing I don't know how much I really like threes, which may be a blasphemous thing to say. I know threes are one of those legendary silhouettes for Jordan, but I'm not gonna act like it's a 2 or anything. But I'm now really looking at just like the shape of the 3 and like
that could be, that's a valid concern though, because I mean they change the shape from time to time, like every few years.
I used to really like them, but I don't know.
Yeah,
this current shape, I don't know.
I will agree. Now that you've brought my attention to that, the shape does look a bit different. I don't know if it actually is, but
it looks more like a 2 than it used to. I'm not gonna lie.
it seems like the heel portion is a bit higher than normal, or like something about that. I don't know.
Agreed. Like when I'm looking at it from a side profile, that heel is like sticking up, and yeah, it just really is reminding me of 2s right now, which is, you know, which is not something you want. I guess
not something like you want.
Yeah, but it's not something you want to be compared to, really. And I guess it makes sense. Obviously, they're not going to be too far from a 2 because obviously it was the next model. But yeah, now the more I'm looking at them, especially a white, for me, it's really hard to sell me on a white Jordan, especially something that's gonna. I'm sure the price of these is going to be up there. And it's really hard to sell me on them because I don't keep my sneakers the cleanest. So it's going to have to be some other color for me. And speaking of, looking at like this whole release, I'm way more interested in these 95s personally.
The 95s are clean.
I really like those, especially in the photos. I'm really liking the way they look on feet, and especially also as someone who sticks to a pretty strict rotation of black, navy, or like gray pants.
This fits it all.
Like, this is the perfect shoe.
I was gonna say these are kind of your style. Like I could see you rocking these for sure.
Like definitely, I already have a pair of 95s as well, but those are like they're like a rose kind of color, so it's not as easy to wear like as often. But these, I could see myself wearing these like pretty consistently. So I don't know. I'm way more interested in looking to get a pair of these. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're still going to be tough to get just because the A Ma Maniere hype is real. But I don't know. I like those a lot more. The Black Forces though, like, what are y'all doing, bro?
Yeah,
Really?
Black Forces, those didn't need to happen. I mean, these look like, talk about looking like a GR. Like, these look like those GRs that sit at the mall on sale for $60. Like, not even a full black Air Force One, but like with the little trims and everything. I am not messing with those. But yeah, the 95s are sick. Not necessarily, like, they're a bit dark for me. I don't like a darker midsole. Like, if that were like maybe a lighter color, like a cream, I could get with these, but because it is all kind of like dark hues, it just doesn't fit my style. But I hope this collab is a sign to come of more Air Max 95s dropping, because
Yes.
I do feel like that shoe as a silhouette is just super underrated and underutilized. And
Agreed.
I hope they can, drop some more collabs, maybe bring some hype to the model, and then bring us some good GR colorways.
I like that. And you know what it is, y'all? Like, I think it really does come down to, well, if we're gonna transition back to the threes real quick, I think it really does come down to like the lack of details. I think Jordan 3s, for me, there needs to be some elephant print for me to like them. Call me old school if you want, but I just found like the fire red pair. If you just look up Jordan 3 Fire Red from 2013, those have a very similar vibe to this one. And it's just, instead of the blue that you get in this pair, you get red. And it gives that same, like, simple, but just doesn't do enough for me to, like, want to purchase that sneaker. And I think that's what this sneaker does. It just doesn't, there's not much to it. And maybe people like simplicity, but for me, the 3 is iconic. I think when you take away the iconic element of the elephant print, I don't think much is left. So I definitely see when Dre says, like, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole 3 silhouette as a whole. Like, I can see that this does kind of make it look a little bit more bulky. I don't know. It just makes it look a little bit less wearable.
It could be a little optical illusion type thing, like without that print, it just looks bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny y'all say that though, because I remember these Fire Red 3s dropping. This is like back when I was more into sneakers, and at the time I liked them. Like, I liked elephant print, I liked 3s, but even now, like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe just right now as we're recording, I'm not feeling elephant print, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, maybe that's also a blasphemous thing to say, but I know elephant print is iconic. But I think Jordan as a brand has run elephant print into the ground.
I agree.
Like
I'm on that page.
All those, like, I forget what they call these type of shoes, like Team Jordan type shoes, or like, I'm trying to think of like a silhouette, but like those off silhouettes that kind of combine some elements of like the actual retro lineup that no one actually really likes. Like, you used to show up to school with that in middle school, and people would be like, "Nah, you're like, these not your real Jordans, bro. Like, these are like the low." I'm trying to think of an example of a silhouette. I can't remember one off the top of my head, but all of those seem. You said what?
I said you can call them the Mexican Jordans if you really want to.
Pretty much. And I feel like most of those though used to spam elephant print because they knew that's what people liked, or at least that's part of what was iconic about like 3s. And I think that has kind of like made me a bit sour on elephant print in general.
I'm curious. I'm sending this in the chat right now. I'm curious what you think of this, because this was a more GR release, which has that print, but also color-wise, to me, is something that looks like what an A Ma Maniere collab would be. I'm curious what you think of this, because I think it would speak a lot to this conversation. And for our listeners, I'm showing off the Jordan 3 Craft Ivories, which dropped in 2024.
Yes, and I agree with you. This does give more A Ma Maniere vibes. Give me these over the upcoming A Ma Maniere release.
They're
all day.
cheaper on the resale than the A Ma
Yeah.
Manieres, I think, will be.
It's just like the colors makes more sense together. You have a very minimalistic light gray. You have the cream, and I love cream. I love gray. So these just fit that, and it just works. It just works. It's not quite like gum bottoms on the bottom of the sneaker, but it does give a little bit of that vibe. It's kind of like also it reminds me of the off-white Jordan 4s as well that came out a few years back. Does give a little bit of that vibe. And then the Nike Air and then the Jumpman on the heel tab. These are nice, man. They even put me onto these. I did not know these were.
Dude, it's a good market, honestly, to buy threes, because the Fear threes, bro, I just looked these up on Go. These are going for like 150 in my size, bro. I might need to pull the trigger. That is one of the best threes of all time, in my opinion.
I don't love these, man. These are disgusting, bro. Unless these were called like the New York Knicks Jordan 3s, I would feel a little bit better
Knicks
about
is
them.
crazy.
I'm not.
Maybe because I these were like one of the first threes I really liked when I got into sneakers, so maybe it's a little nostalgia thing.
And that gradient is diabolical. I ain't gonna lie. That gradient is crazy.
Maybe like the Jordan 3 Phoenix Suns. Like, I don't know. But this is just not. This does not
I
do
think
it.
the elephant print, like I may just be off elephant print, except for the craft ivory, the ones you just sent, because it's like a light gray, and then like the
it's
white
hidden
on
a
it.
bit.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle. I can appreciate that. Like if I see that down the block, that doesn't stand out to me as much. Like you have to actually be up close and see that, versus like a lot of them other elephant print, just like it just sticks out. But threes low-key looking like Team Jordan to me now, bro. Like this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. Like I never had this feeling before about threes, but we might have to. We mentioned this maybe like episode 2 or something. But next time we have a slow week, we may have to do like that ranking of like the Jordan lineups. You to like do our ranking.
That would be good. That would be good.
We gotta do those, because now I'm feeling how I felt even like a month ago or 2 months ago when we talked about it. I'm feeling way different now about where I might put threes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the colorways right now, just kind of reminiscing, and I'm having a similar feeling. Definitely. I technically only have one pair of threes. They're like the denim threes, where it's like the areas that are elephant print are like denim with that print on them. Semi-Japanese inspired. I don't know, man. Let us know in the comments what y'all are thinking about
How are you feeling about
these A Ma Manieres?
The last thing I will say before we wrap up, just like since we're talking elephant print, I don't know, man. I personally will just vouch for the elephant print and say I am still all for the design. I just sent, these aren't Jordan 3s, but I sent some Nike SB Dunk Lows, the Atmos elephants. Or I believe that's what they're called. I guess they're called the Dunk Low elephants. But they have that little, like the teal swoosh and then just elephant print all around. I understand that these are not really for the times right now, but these are still one of my grails, man. And I will always find this sneaker. I guess like this will always be a grail for me. I don't care. It works for me. I'm never gonna be off of the print. Like I said, call me old school, but these are my speed.
Man.
Okay, about like
those are the grails you see at Walmart, man. These are not grails.
About like a minute ago, I was like, how, like, what's going on? I'm not sure. Like, I feel like I'm off elephant print, but like I need to really sit on it. Once you sent these, I'm 100% off elephant print, bro. What the hell is this?
That's wild, man.
This is crazy. You want to talk about? I think a few weeks ago we were talking about hit the crack pipe. This is like hit the meth, bro. This is like 8 Mile. Like we were. It's like crazy shit, bro. It's a crazy
I guess
shit.
these do look like someone who's like doing Showtime on the New York City subway.
These are definitely the Showtime.
This is the dude who doesn't get away from the court, man. He's always trying to run another game, bro. Like, go home, bro. Like, come on.
Man.
Nah.
Nah. if there's any OG sneakerheads out there, I know there's people with me, man, but I'm not even trying to be that like old school guy. These just, I don't know. These will always be fire to me.
That's fair, and I can recognize it may be a bit of blasphemy coming from Elephant Print, but it just hit me today. Like I'm like, damn, it's not really hitting the same.
Understood. Okay. Cool, man. Cool. By the way, last thing I will say. Okay, for real. Those black Air Force Ones, they're not bad. They're not bad. Do I think that the A Ma Maniére branding? No. I think if you told me those were like some cactus plant flea markets, I would be more like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I don't hate these. Are they enough to like want to buy
How do
them?
these remind you of the CPFMs?
No, they just give more CPFM like branding vibes. It just like the way the swoosh kind of pops out the.
Oh, I can see that actually.
You know, like it's
I
not.
I
It's
see
not,
what you're saying now. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
it's not
disagree,
necess-
but I see it.
I don't know. They work. Are they enough for me to want to buy them? No, but I do like when Air Force Ones have a little bit of like a different. I know there was the Love You Forever pair, like the Drake Air Force Ones, the Supreme Air Force Ones. I never will buy a pair for myself, but they're cool to look at. But that's about it.
The Millie Bobby Brown ones. All right.
Crazy. For legal reasons, that was a joke. Okay, let's move on to the next
I will
topic.
say, before we
Yeah.
move on to the next topic, little side topic. Just browsing the A Ma Maniére site, bro. I just sent this to y'all, man. Jerry, I'm sorry, bro, but you got to start moving units, man. You got to start selling out your shoes. You've been working years on this Adidas collab. Fear God Athletics, bro. You only got like 2 sizes, 3 sizes sold out, man.
This is
I
bad.
like your designs.
Understandably, bro. Understandably.
This
These are buns.
this colorway is not it. This colorway is not it. The
Really?
shoe itself, I think, is okay. Like I think it's a good canvas, but the paint's used, man, on this pure beige pair. Not it.
Nah,
Off topic, but I know we talked about Jerry before, so I had to give
Yeah,
the
we haven't
update.
talked about him again for a reason, man. Fix it.
I'm not a Jerry Lorenzo like apologist, but I don't hate these, but this is not a good look as far as just how. Yeah, what is it? The 8.5s, the 10s, and the 13s, which is like, yes, you would normally see those sold out. But it's like there's still size 8 and 9s and 9.5s just sitting. That's a really bad look.
The normal regular sizing, like
Yeah.
big sizes sitting is, especially on not even the Adidas site, on like a regular retail site where they don't take them down and say sold out to give the illusion they sold out. Like these are pairs actually sitting out in the wild that people can easily get, and they're choosing not to.
Yeah, I'm not dropping the 190 on this, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I would.
If I saw these for a little quick 15, maybe.
That's insane. I would.
These to me, these look like a regular Adidas basketball shoe to me. And all of those shoes are sick and go for like 120, 115, 110. So
Fair.
to ask 190 for another basketball shoe because it's got the Fear of God name, but it's in a buns colorway, doing too much.
I don't hate these. But hey, agree to disagree.
It's like
Anyways.
the fake Yeezy Belugas, bro. Anyways.
The belugas. Okay. Cool, man. By the way, if there's any sneakerheads out there listening, please let us know in the comments, man. Please let us know who you're rocking with, because I feel like we all have different takes, different tastes. So we want to hear.
And I want all the smoke. All the smoke, man. Come at me for the elephant print take. Come at me for the 3 take. I want all the smoke, and I will respond. So, let's get
Even
it.
me, man. I said what I said, man. I said what I said.